6:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Dilini Gunawardena, assisted by Sanjay Paladeniya and read by Geethanjali Ramanayaka. The headlines. The Sectoral Oversight Committee on Foreign Employment and Labour instructs the Central Bank to submit a report on institutions in which money pertaining to the EPF has been invested. India's first international cruise from Chennai to Sri Lanka is flagged off. The Consumer Affairs Authority accuses the large-scale egg producers regarding the high price of eggs. A French national is arrested with smuggled gold at the Bandaranaike International Airport. The World Environment Day. Foreign news, graphic images of the Odisha train accident is released by Indian authorities. Sports, athletics. Sri Lanka wins gold at the 2023 Asian Junior Athletics Championship. News in detail. The Sectoral Oversight Committee on Foreign Employment and Labour instructs the officials representing the Central Bank to submit a report on the institutions in which the money pertaining to the Employees' Provident Fund has been invested. This directive was given at the Sectoral Oversight Committee on Foreign Employment and Labour held recently in Parliament under the chairmanship of H.B. Hector Apuhami. Accordingly, Chair instructed to submit a report mentioning the details of the money, profits made, institutions in which the money pertaining to the EPF has been invested, and the way in which such investments have been made within the last decade. The report should be submitted to the committee within 2 weeks. The committee chair emphasized the need of a smooth and more efficient process which will benefit those who wish to take their EPF post-retirement without any hassle. Accordingly, the committee decided to call subject experts to decide on a better mechanism and the way forward. India launched its first ever international cruise from Tamil Nadu to Sri Lanka, operated by Cordelia Cruises, and the maiden voyage was flagged off by Indian Minister of Ports, Shipping and Waterways, Sarbananda Sonowal. The event took place today with a cruise line. A program was held at ITC Grand Chola Hotel in Chennai at 11 a.m. where Shipping Minister Sonowal participated. The event aimed to highlight the significant developments undertaken by the central government for the Chennai port over the past 9 years. The cruise, titled the Cordelia Empress, was officially inaugurated by Minister Sonowal from the Chennai Cruise Terminal, marking the beginning of the journey. The cruise tour package will allow tourists to visit the ports of Hambantota, Trincomalee and Jaffna before returning to Chennai. The Consumer Affairs Authority says that it's difficult to maintain the controlled price of eggs as the large-scale egg producers charge a higher price than the controlled price. The investigations officer of the authority, Kosala Ranganatha, said that large-scale egg producers inhibit the investigations carried out by the poultry farms. The government has imposed a controlled price of 40 rupees for an egg. Yet the large-scale producers sell an egg for 50 rupees. Therefore, the retail sellers are compelled to sell eggs at a higher price. Meanwhile, raids are underway to find out those who sell eggs at a higher price. During the last month, legal action has been taken against 18 such sellers. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. A French national has been arrested at the Bandaranaike International Airport in Katunayaka today while attempting to smuggle a stock of gold worth over 80 million rupees into the country. The officers of the Narcotics Control Unit and the Gems and Jewellery Valuation Division of Sri Lanka Customs had apprehended a suspect along with the stock of gold weighing 4.611 kilograms in total. The seized stock of gold has been confiscated following an investigation, and a fine of 70 million rupees has been imposed on the passenger. The Supreme Court has decided to support the fundamental rights petition filed by Pastor Jerome Fernando, requesting the court to issue an order preventing his arrest by the Criminal Investigations Department on the 20th of July. Meanwhile, the court has also granted permission for the request filed by Venerable L.A. Gunavansatero and the several others to intervene in the petition and present facts. Pastor Fernando, in the fundamental rights petition filed through his attorney on May 26th, had sought an order preventing the CID from arresting him, while the Inspector General of Police, the DIG in charge of the CID Director and the officer in charge of the Cyber Crimes Unit of the CID had been named as the respondents of the petition. And that ends local news for now.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The World Environment Day was celebrated today. The theme for World Environment Day this year focused on solutions to plastic pollution under the campaign Beat Plastic Pollution. Meanwhile, attending the Environment Day celebration held at the Temple of the Tooth Relic, the chief of the Vedda community, Uruarge Vanilatto, pointed out that everyone should take the responsibility of protecting the environment. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
On to Watchlight. The Examinations Department requests the candidates facing the GCE Ordinary Level Examination to call the hotline number 117 if they are facing a disaster situation due to the prevailing rainy condition and needs any assistance. The Commissioner General of Examinations, Amit Jayasundara, informs to pay close attention to disaster situation and take steps to deal with them in advance. To conduct the GCE Ordinary Level Examination without interruption, the Examinations Department and the Disaster Management Center have prepared a coordinated mechanism to avoid the obstacles caused by the disaster and adverse weather island-wide. And that came to you in Watchlight. On to world news, and first the headlines. Graphic images of the Odisha train accident are released by the Indian authorities. 2 drones fall on highway near Moscow region. And conservationists tackle decline of Scottish coastal species. The authorities on Odisha have released graphic pictures of dozens of bodies of the victims of Friday's train crash as services finally resumed on the tracks involved. The Odisha government hopes the images will help families of the passengers to find their loved ones' remains. The names of around 300 injured passengers who are still in hospital have also been released. Officials say preliminary investigations point to an error in the electronic signaling system as being the most likely cause of the crash, which killed at least 275 people and left more than 1,100 injured. 2 drones fell on a highway in Russia's Kaluga region, which lies south of the Moscow region, with the governor saying that no explosives detonated. Based on the information provided by the governor, the drones fell from 280 kilometers to 300 kilometers from Moscow. Last week, Russia said Ukrainian drones struck districts of Moscow. Kyiv has denied any involvement. 8 leading conservation organizations have joined forces to help reverse the decline of vulnerable coastal species in Scotland. The Species on the Edge program will focus on the conservation of 37 priority species such as bumblebees. It aims to secure the future for coastal and island species as well as raising awareness of biodiversity in Scotland. Many of the species the program will help are at risk of extinction. And back to the headlines of the world news. Graphic images of the Odisha train accident are released by the Indian authorities. 2 drones fell on highway near Moscow region. Conservationists tackle decline of Scottish coastal species. And that ends world news.
Development News is brought to you by
Vacancies for women from Deshakti Lanka for housemaids in Kuwait, Oman and Saudi Arabia for ages 23 to 58 years. Contact number 037 7500 500.
The Railways Department says that 90% of the construction of the Northern Railway line between Anuradhapura and Vaunia is already completed. The General Manager of the Railways, N.K. Indipolage, says that the train services will be available from Colombo to Jaffna within next month. Passengers will be able to reach Jaffna within 5 hours once the renovation is done. And that was Development News.
Vacancies for women from Deshakti Lanka for housekeepers, home cooks, caretakers and home nurses in Kuwait, Oman, Saudi Arabia and Singapore for ages 23 to 57 years. Salaries starting from 156,000 rupees. Interviews with foreign agents are now on. Come whether you have a passport or not. Branches, Colombo, Kurunagala, Anuradhapura and Matara. Contact number 0377 500 500.
On to sports news. Sri Lankan athlete Tarushi Karunaratne has clinched the gold medal in the women's 800-meter event at the 20th Asian Under-20 Junior Athletic Championship 2023, currently being held in South Korea. Akban Nurmat of Kazakhstan won the second place, while Yingying Chin of China was second runner-up of the event. This is Sri Lanka's first gold medal at the 20th Asian Under-20 Junior Athletic Championship 2023, being held from the 4th to the 7th of June at the Yeshin Stadium in Yeshin, South Korea. She had also bagged a silver medal in the women's 400-meter competition yesterday, while fellow Sri Lankan Jayeshi Uttara won the bronze medal in the same event. And that was sports news.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හින හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The TransAsia Cellular Private Limited has opened its first international retail store in Dubai, UAE, heralding the first steps for the brand's global expansion plans. The store, primarily located in Deira, the heart of Dubai, was inaugurated by the chief guest Sheikh Mohammed Al Shahai recently, along with Group Chairman Mr. Mufil Yazin, and in the presence of a few other dignitaries. And that was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හින හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
On to economic news. The fourth session of the Joint Commission between Sri Lanka and the Maldives will commence tomorrow at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The Minister of Foreign Affairs Ali Sabri will co-chair the Joint Commission with his counterpart Abdullah Shahid on the 7th of June 2023. The Joint Commission is expected to enable two countries to assess the progress of bilateral relations and the way forward to further advance cooperation covering multifaceted areas of shared interest. And that was economic news.
Weather report.
Showers or thundershowers will occur at times in the western and Sabaragamu provinces and in the Galle and Mathura districts. Fairly heavy showers, about 75 millimeters, are likely at some places in the Sabaragamu province and in the Galle, Mathura and Kaltara districts. Several spells of showers will occur in the northwestern province. Showers or thundershowers will occur at a few places in the Uva and central provinces and in Ampara and Batikla district during the evening or night. Strong winds, about 40 to 45 kilometers per hour, can be expected at times in the northern and north-central provinces and in the Hambantota, Puttalam and Trincomalee districts. And that was the weather report. And prior to concluding this news broadcast, the headlines once again. The Sectoral Oversight Committee on Foreign Employment and Labour instruct the Central Bank to submit a report on institutions in which money pertaining to the EPF has been invested. India's first international cruise from Chennai to Sri Lanka is flagged off. The Consumer Affairs Authority accuses the large-scale egg producers regarding the high price of eggs. A French national is arrested with smuggled gold at the Bandaranaike International Airport. The World Environment Day is celebrated today. Foreign news, graphic images of Odisha train accident is released by the Indian authorities. Sports, athletics, Sri Lanka wins gold at the 2023 Asian Junior Athletics Championship. And with that, we end this news broadcast from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.